it's still perfect weather out. So I wanted to stop and tell you a story I heard today. So I had a friend who was doing a race, and he was drafting behind a bunch of inexperienced riders. And what happened is they came up to an obstacle in the road, and the bunch split. There was about 6 people in this group, and nobody motioned that there was an obstacle approaching. Well, he'd been giving it a hard effort and was looking down, which we shouldn't have been doing. But as he noticed the bunch was splitting, he looked up and didn't have enough time to react to get around the obstacle. So I wanted to go over a couple etiquette rules to help you ride safer and to help your friends ride safer. So a couple hand motions. When you're cycling and you know you're going to slow down or come to a stop, take your hand and lower it to your side in a stopping motion as stop, but behind you. This way, the people behind you who should be looking up can see your signal and start to slow down. The second one that's really important is if you're still in motion but you see an obstacle approaching, and this obstacle might be hidden from the people behind you. So you're just gonna point at the object and follow it with your finger as you ride past. It's pretty simple. Now, that's if it's one object, maybe a branch or a stick or a pothole. But a lot of times on the road we'll run into glass, maybe some gravel, maybe it's a patch of branches. And basically what you're gonna do is similarly to following the object with your hand, but you're just gonna give it a little jazz hand. So move your fingers. This is gonna signal that there's a lot of debris on whichever side it is. It could be on your right or it could be on your left. It's the same thing, just shake your hand at it. And this way you're signaling to the people behind you, or only looking at your rear end, that there's an obstacle coming. Try not to make any sudden motions to avoid the obstacle. You yourself should be looking up, looking down the road to see what obstacles are coming. So slowly move away from the object, giving the people behind you a chance to get out of the way as well. So this person I was telling you about, he ended up going nose over the handlebars, breaking his wrist, and having to sit out for 3 months of training. So not only did he have to finish the race, which he toughed it out, but he could have ruined his bike. He could have been more seriously injured than a broken wrist, which is pretty severe. So luckily for him, he ended up okay as far as crashes go. But at the same time, all of those could have been avoided if the bunch that he was behind had been signaling properly. So he made it to the end of the race, and he noticed this same bunch of people, and they had lost another rider to a fall. So it must have been a pothole or maybe another obstacle where they hadn't signaled and the person in the back didn't have time to adjust, and then that person ended up taking a tumble. Like I said, this was a group of inexperienced riders. They didn't know some of these simple etiquette rules to keep them safe. So hopefully someone will give them some advice, or maybe they'll YouTube it. But definitely look up some of these etiquette rules. If you're gonna do a race, if you're planning on riding in a group, maybe come up with your own hand signals or gestures, or just some etiquette saying, hey, if you're riding in the back, help me out, and try to keep your eyes forward. Because what you don't want to do is be looking down all the time. You're not gonna be able to see features coming up, potholes, maybe debris, or maybe a group in front of you had crashed and you have to avoid them. So when you start running into big groups like that, it's more important that you keep your eyes up and stay focused. Ride safe. Alright, here's the sound with my new puff on the microphone. Yesterday when I was testing it out, it almost sounded worse. Hopefully today sounds better. When I get home, we'll check out the sound. But yeah, I don't know. It sounds really echoey. Like there's not as much wind noise, but because I covered up the microphone, any sound that does go into the microphone seems like it gets trapped. sounds like you're in a cave and there's a, I don't know, echo slash static. I don't know, let me know if you haven't had any luck with these little poofy deals. See if you came up with an alternative. This doesn't seem to be working out for me. Woo! Crap. I like to cross before the intersection when there's fewer cars. On the way home, everybody's in a hurry, running red lights, doing things they're not supposed to. So, I don't know, see, I don't always like doing it. I prefer to wait for a light, but at the same time, I don't care about right away if I'm the one on the losing end. So we'll see. Talking about the weather, but it is beautiful out. It's almost a little too warm, probably above 75 degrees. But check out this gnarly snow cloud. Check out this gnarly rain cloud. This morning that was the entire sky. So while I was on my way to work, I thought it was gonna rain, but and ended up clearing up. Those poor cows. Those are dairy cows. Don't eat meat. Cookies. Oh. Ton of gnats. Little water bugs. I didn't swallow one though. Oh, backpack is killing me. I need a nice little massage. Some time off carrying this backpack. Alright, so let's go over those hand signals. So let's say you're coming to do an intersection or an obstacle and you've got to make a stop, or you're just slowing down. Take your hand and just lower it. Lower your hand. Keep it firm. And then use your opposite hand to brake. So depending on how hard you had to brake, make sure you're not using your front brake. You're going too aggressively. If you've got disc brakes, you might stop a little bit too quickly. Let's say you've got some debris on the sidewalk. and the people behind you can't see it. Use your pointer finger and just point to the debris and follow it. Follow it until it passes you, and hopefully the guys behind you are following suit to the people behind them. If you've got a lot of little debris, little bits of glass, maybe some gravel, it'll be real slippery, do your jazz hands and follow it. Follow it as you pass. This way you're giving everybody a chance to avoid it early. And that's another thing, you got to do this early. Keep your head up and don't be looking down. You need to look out for the people behind you. Help keep them safe, because you guys should be taking turns up front, and you want them to keep you safe and you want to keep them safe. Don't do that. But yeah, you guys want to keep each other safe, because eventually you're going to be the one at the back looking down, and if you don't have your buddies looking out for you, that's going to be you with your wrist broken, bike broken. And I know for a lot of people out there, if you break a bone, you've got some nice insurance to cover that. You might have a little cope fee, but your bike, that's something to think about. If you've got an expensive bike, you might need some bike insurance or something. See whoever is covering your car. I don't know, that's interesting. I haven't looked into that. Bike insurance. If your bike's $4,000, $5,000, $6,000, might be worth paying a couple $100 if you're gonna do some racing. You take one little crash, bust a wheel or bust your frame, that's another $2,000 out of pocket. Something I don't have. That's why I stick to aluminum. Man, it is windy. It's blowing me all over. So yeah, be safe out there while you're riding. All that hard work you put into training, it could all be over in one little hour training session. You come back with a broken wrist, broken collarbone, bike all tore up. All that training is down the waist. You gotta start all over once you've healed up. No cyclists out today. A lot of people walking. Little kiddos playing soccer. Wind! Oh! Whoa! Wind! It's rocking me all over. My wheels aren't deep, but this wind is really blowing. It's knocking me all over. I'm not a light rider. didn't time that one very well. I had to stop. But yeah, let me know if your hand signals for obstacles or stopping or slowing are different in your area. Maybe your group ride has a particular hand signal. We can share it. Maybe it's something we all want to use. Something different. Hope each other stay safe on the road. I hate this little section, but I appreciate the thought. It's really bumpy, and I almost think they did it on purpose because it's a bend. If you're riding and looking down like you shouldn't be, and you come to that spot, you could run into the barrier, run into the canal right there, or you could even end up the ditch over here if you're really cooking. But yeah, it's always important to look up, see where you're going. So they have a little bit of bumps right there, kind of slows you down, wakes you up. There's a lot of the bends. Well, I guess they're helpful, but they sure are annoying. Alright guys, almost home. Ride safe.